Were you guys part of the original 22?
He's in the top 1%, in my opinion, of leaders in Central Florida that are truly making an impact.
That right there just let me know that he was going to be bigger than life.
Get your mind off of people. Get your mind on God. Recognize God is talking to you. Are you operating in it? Stop making self-righteous statements. Well, I would, but. No, God didn't put a but in the scripture for you. If he says to do that, that's what he said. If he says go out to the highways and byways and compel people to come, but I don't have a car, find another way to get it done. And he just told you to do it. What is it that God is asking for you to do that you keep putting excuses in the place of it? I would, but.
When he was a little one, I would say Derek was about maybe 4 or 5 years old. He would collect cars. And he would, in my mom's living room, and he would place these cars in a certain order. And I don't know what type of, I don't know if it was the fancier cars that was in the front, but he would place these cars, and he would have them like it was a church, and they would be coming to his church. And that right there just let me know that he was going to be bigger than life.
I started the ministry with him. I was one of the 22 because we were in my home. So
The living room crew was in your living room.
the living room crew was actually in my living room and my dining room.
What was that like?
It was kind of exciting and at the same time kind of anxious. And I say anxious because I didn't know what to expect.
It was a dream because we had been in the living room days for a while, just planning and writing stuff out. And I had never been a part of starting a church. So this was all brand new for me to see how everything went into our church becoming what it is. And so when we got to that first night, knowing that this is it, we're starting a ministry together, it was overwhelming. Like I remember that night like it was yesterday. It was overwhelming because I knew that he was ready. I knew that he was prepared, and I knew that he had a great bunch of people around him that was ready to carry out that vision. It surpassed my expectations because I couldn't believe how many people came. It was not that I didn't think that many people would come, but it was just so great to see that so many people knew that we were gonna have an amazing time in the Lord and to start the new year right. And it was in church and in this new ministry.
Well, I can start that one because I was actually entering my high school years, my freshman year when we started the church. And it definitely changed our life because, we had to change a lot because, when you become a pastor, your life is under a microscope now. So we all as a family had to, they were a little young, but we had to like commit to, okay, this is what our father's doing. So we have to understand that we have to be in a certain light, move a certain way, because God is calling. God has chosen.
Yeah, Kayla was running around. She was 1 or 2 years old. So she was all over the church. Do you remember any of it, Kayla?
I remember some of it because I just remember being in there, and I remember some of his sermons because his sermons were very eventful back then. So, yeah, I enjoyed them even as a child.
I think kind of what Braylon said, the whole microscope thing, but other than that, it wasn't much of a change for me. Nothing really changed. It was still the same old dad, the same person. At home, it was the same thing. It was just, you got to go to church more now.
A lot more.
That was really the only difference.
Bishop really got on my radar because I really saw him championing so many important things, justice and resources and impact for people who really need that done. And so I think we kind of connected at that kind of heart level of really wanting to do real things, not just talk, but actually make an impact. And when you're somebody that's into that world, it can be discouraging and exhausting at times. And he's been somebody that is continually encouraging to me just by watching what he's doing. So again, we were in a lot of the same circles and a lot of the same places, but he's in the top 1%, in my opinion, of leaders in Central Florida that are truly making an impact. He has a real vision for community and vision for community impact, and he's more about principles than he's about power. You know, some people are so focused on power, they'll give up their principles. But when you're focused on your principles, you don't worry as much about your power. And what I see in him is somebody who's really focused on the right things getting done. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, him getting credit or whoever getting credit. It's the right thing happening. And I really, really respect that.
So this really does kind of fit into that theme of come worship and grow with us. I feel as if that sacrifice and obedience that he demonstrated so many years ago. We weren't around when he was going through his fasting and trying to figure out whether he was going to start a church. But this is just a manifestation of, okay, that was you being obedient. And God is promoting him, elevating him beyond what he could have done on his own.
You know, it's kind of like when God gives you a sign and it's confirmation. This elevation or consecration is really just it's just confirmation to me of this step. Everything that I feel like we have been a part of, this only makes sense that this is where he goes. I don't see this in no way, shape, form, or fashion as the end. I actually only see it as the beginning. And it is absolutely phenomenal to watch and see God moving and rewarding him for the sacrifice and the diligence. So I pray that our church sees that, supports that, is happy and a part of that process. As he gets elevated, the church gets elevated, the church members get elevated. So I'm excited.